One American company lost $14 billion in market value in a single week because of a policy change that fits in a tweet. These are the 10 companies getting absolutely crushed by Trump's tariff war, and number one might genuinely not survive. You're watching Wealth Ranked. In early 2025, the Trump administration rolled out sweeping tariffs that rocked global markets. We're talking 10% baseline tariffs on virtually all imports, 25% on steel and aluminum, 25% on Canadian and Mexican goods, and tariffs on Chinese products that have climbed as high as 145% in some categories. These aren't theoretical numbers. They're rewriting the economics of entire industries overnight. And some companies are getting hit harder than anyone expected. Let's start at number 10. Dollar Tree. This might seem like an odd pick, but think about it for 2 seconds. Dollar Tree's entire business model is selling products at ultra-low price points. Where do those products come from? China. An estimated 40% of Dollar Tree's merchandise is sourced from Chinese suppliers. When tariffs on Chinese goods jumped to triple digits, Dollar Tree's cost structure was demolished. They can't absorb the increase because their margins were already razor thin. They can't pass it to consumers because their whole brand is about being cheap. Their stock dropped 28% in the first quarter of 2025 alone. Management floated the idea of raising their flagship price point from $1.25 to $1.50, but test markets showed a 15% drop in foot traffic. When your entire brand identity is built on a price point, even a quarter makes a difference. Number 9. Ford Motor Company. Ford builds trucks in America, so you'd think tariffs would help them, right? Wrong. A modern F-150 has roughly 200 parts sourced from Mexico and Canada. The 25% tariff on parts from those countries added an estimated $12,500 to the production cost of every truck. Ford can either eat that cost or raise prices and watch buyers defect to competitors. Either way, their margins get crushed. Analysts estimate tariffs will cost Ford $1.5 billion in additional expenses annually. Ford stock dropped 12% in the week after tariffs took effect, wiping out $6 billion in market value. The irony is thick. A company that brands itself as America's truck is getting punished by an America First trade policy. But here's where it gets insane. Number 8 is Nike. Nike manufactures almost nothing in the United States. Their shoes are made in Vietnam, Indonesia, and China. When broad tariffs hit Southeast Asian imports, Nike's cost per pair of shoes jumped by $8 to $12. On a $120 sneaker, that's a 10% margin hit. Nike's stock dropped 18% from its 2025 high, and they've started quietly raising prices on their most popular models. Consumers have noticed, and sales have slipped. Number 7. Best Buy. Consumer electronics are overwhelmingly manufactured in Asia. TVs, laptops, headphones, smart speakers, almost all of it comes from China, Vietnam, or Taiwan. Best Buy can't control where Samsung or Sony builds their products. When tariff costs get passed through, the sticker price goes up and consumers delay purchases. Best Buy's comparable sales fell 4% year over year in Q1 2025. The stock is down 22%. Number 6, Five Below. Same story as Dollar Tree, but arguably worse. Five Below targets teens and young adults with trendy products priced under $5. Nearly 60% of their inventory comes from China. They tried shifting to suppliers in India and Turkey, but you don't replace that supply chain in a few months. Their CEO admitted on an earnings call that tariffs were an existential challenge to the value retail model. When a CEO uses the word existential, you know it's bad. And that's not even the craziest part. Number 5 is Walmart. Yes, Walmart. the largest retailer in the world, imports an estimated 50 billion worth of goods annually from China. They have more negotiating power than almost any company on Earth, and even they can't fully absorb these tariff increases. Walmart's CFO warned that consumers would see higher prices as a direct result of tariffs. Their stock had its worst single-day drop in months after that announcement. When Walmart tells you prices are going up, prices are going up. Number 4, Constellation Brands. They own Corona and Modelo beer, which are brewed in Mexico. The 25% tariff on Mexican imports directly hits every case of beer they bring across the border. Constellation can't brew Corona in Ohio. The brand is Mexican. That's the whole point. They're facing an estimated $700 million in additional annual tariff costs, and there's no easy workaround. Their stock got hammered, dropping 20% in 2 months. The company has explored building a brewery in the US, but replicating the water profile, the brewing expertise, and the brand authenticity would take years and cost billions. There's no quick fix. Number 3, Apple. This is the big one that everyone's watching. Apple assembles the vast majority of its iPhones in China. Moving production out of China has been a stated goal for years, but it's happening slowly. India and Vietnam now handle some assembly, but China still accounts for roughly 80% of iPhone production. At a 145% tariff rate on Chinese goods, the iPhone would need to cost $2,300 to maintain margins. Obviously, Apple isn't going to charge $2,300. So they're eating the cost, accelerating the move to India, and lobbying furiously for exemptions. Apple's stock dropped 15% from its peak. That's over $400 billion in market value erased. But here's where it gets insane. Number 2 is Tesla. Elon Musk was arguably the most prominent business supporter of the Trump administration, and yet his company is getting devastated. Tesla imports battery components and materials from China. Their supply chain depends on rare earth minerals processed in China. And here's the kicker: retaliatory tariffs from China, Canada, and the European Union have made Tesla vehicles more expensive in those markets. Tesla's sales in China dropped 11%. European sales fell 9%. The stock lost 40% of its value in the first quarter of 2025, making it one of the worst performing mega-cap stocks in the market. The irony is almost too perfect. And number 1, the company getting destroyed worse than any other by Trump's tariffs is Shein. The ultra-fast fashion giant built its entire empire on a loophole. Packages shipped directly from China to American consumers valued under $800 were exempt from import duties under the de minimis rule. Trump closed that loophole. Overnight, every single Shein order became subject to tariffs. Shein's average product costs about $12. Adding even a $3 tariff fee changes the economics entirely. Their US sales reportedly dropped 30% in the months following the policy change. The company had been planning a massive IPO valued at $60 to $90 billion. That valuation has been slashed. Some analysts now think the IPO may not happen at all. An entire $60 billion company potentially destroyed by a single policy change. Now here's the bigger picture that most people are missing. Tariffs don't just hurt individual companies. They create a cascading effect through the entire economy. When Ford pays more for parts, they charge more for trucks. When truck prices go up, delivery companies pay more for fleets. When delivery costs rise, everything shipped by truck gets more expensive. A tariff on steel doesn't just make steel expensive, it makes everything built with steel expensive. And that includes hospitals, bridges, apartment buildings, and cars. The Federal Reserve estimated that the 2025 tariff regime added 0.5 to 0.8 percentage points to consumer inflation. That doesn't sound like much until you realize it means the average American household is paying an extra $1,200 to $1,900 per year. That's not a tax on China. That's a tax on American consumers collected by the US government, paid by people buying everyday products. Some industries will benefit. Domestic steel producers, American manufacturers who compete directly with Chinese imports, and companies with entirely US-based supply chains will see advantages. But the net economic effect, according to most independent analyses, is negative. Tariffs transfer wealth from consumers and import-dependent businesses to domestic producers and the federal government. Whether that trade-off is worth it depends entirely on your political perspective and your time horizon. But for these 10 companies, the math is brutally clear. Their costs went up, their margins went down, and their stock prices followed. And the tariffs aren't going away. If anything, the administration has signaled they could get more aggressive. These companies are now operating in a fundamentally different cost environment, and the ones that can't adapt fast enough won't just lose money, they'll lose their place in the market entirely. Subscribe to Wealth Ranked. We rank the biggest money stories on the planet. See you in the next one.